I can be stranded.
There are so many benefits to membership, and AAA is there if you're locked out of your car, need a tow, run out of gas, have a flat tire, or a dead battery.
You know, if you have one flat tire or one battery service, that membership fee pays for itself.
Wherever you go, wherever you are, you can trust AAA to be there when you need them.
Call AAA today and find out how much you can save.
Is Eyewitness News with live breaking news.
Right now at 11, we have breaking news. A sad day for the LA City Fire Department after one of its recruits was killed early this morning.
Convicted armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed gets ready to hear her sentence for the death of the cinematographer on the movie Rust.
Donald Trump making history this morning as the first former president to go on trial for criminal charges. We're live at the courthouse. Good morning. This is Eyewitness News at 11 a.m. We're live on ABC 7, Hulu, and wherever you stream. I'm Philip Palmer.
And I'm Giovanna Lotta. We begin with breaking news. A tragic loss for the LA City Fire Department as a recruit firefighter was killed while attempting to render aid at the scene of a crash. You're taking a look now this is video of the procession as first responders escorted the recruit's body to the LA County Coroner's office. It happened just after 5 o'clock this morning, that accident that we mentioned on the southbound side of the 101 freeway in Studio City near Vineland Avenue. The recruit was pronounced dead at the scene. At this time, the victim's name has not been released. We will continue to follow this story as we learn new details and share them with you.
The convicted armorer from the set of the movie Rust is in court for her sentencing for the death of the film's cinematographer. Hannah Gutierrez-Reed was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter last month for the deadly shooting of Helena Hutchins on the movie set. Hutchins was killed when a prop gun held by actor Alec Baldwin fired a live round while filming. The movie's director was also injured in the shooting. Gutierrez-Reed faces up to a year and a half in prison. Baldwin is expected to stand trial for involuntary manslaughter in July.
And now to the latest on the tension in the Middle East. Israeli Defense Forces have officially named the operation that stopped Iran's attack on Saturday as Iron Shield. This comes as today, Israel's war cabinet is meeting to talk about its response to Iran's attack. Cabinet members met yesterday but are said to be divided over the timing and scale of the retaliation. Iran launched more than 300 missiles and drones at Israel in retaliation for that airstrike that killed 2 Iranian generals in Syria. Israel says 99% of the drones and missiles were intercepted. Those that did hit caused minor damage and critically injured a young girl. The U.S. says it supports Israel's right to defend itself, but it will not be part of any Israeli response.
In the 36 hours since, we have been coordinating a diplomatic response to seek to prevent escalation. Strength and wisdom need to be the same sides, the different sides of the same coin. I've been in close communication with counterparts in the region, and we will continue to do so in the hours and days ahead.
In President Biden's first on-camera remarks since the Iranian strike, he also stressed that, quote, the United States is committed to Israel's security. Your weekly fill-up isn't getting any cheaper. Gas prices continue to creep upward. The average price per gallon in California is now up 11 cents over last week.
There's fear rising tension in the Middle East could drive prices even higher. Eyewitness News reporter Jaysha Patel is live with the details. Jaysha.
Philip, Giovanna, AAA says gas is already expensive this time of year because the summer blend costs more and the demand for gas is higher during the summer. But they say it's too soon to tell if the conflict in the Middle East will impact gas prices. Over the weekend, Iran launched an attack against Israel with drones and missiles. This comes after a suspected Israeli strike killed 2 Iranian generals in Syria. The big question now is if the conflict in the Middle East will affect us here in Southern California.
A lot of Southern California's issues are not directly impacted by conflict and war, of course. Here it's local refineries. However, if there is an escalation of war like we saw with the Ukraine and Russia war, that did actually impact gas prices. So while we can't say it is too early to tell, it has absolutely happened in the past.
AAA says refineries are having maintenance issues which are impacting gas prices.
Currently, the average gas prices nationwide are around $3.64. And locally here in California, we're looking at about $5.46. So that was an 11-cent increase in California from last week.
For Southern Californians, the rise in gas prices aren't new, but it still causes pain at the pump every week.
That stinks because I just moved here, so I get here and it goes up 11 cents. But yeah, it's not fun. And it's definitely high, and definitely in a city where you have to use your car, it's not fun.
Right now, there's no huge spike in the price of oil, but that could change depending on what happens in the coming days. There are growing fears about conflict escalating, which could create issues in the Strait of Hormuz, an important oil choke point. Iran has already seized an Israeli-affiliated container ship near that area. AAA says there's no date for when we can expect those gas prices to come down. So they say the best thing you can do is carpool and shop around for the best price. Live in Glendale, Jaysha Patel, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Jaysha, thank you. Today, Donald Trump's so-called hush money trial in New York has officially kicked off.
Trump is accused of covering up payments to Stormy Daniels leading up to the 2016 election. ABC's Christian Cordero joins us from outside the courthouse with a live report. Christian.
Hey, Philip, Giovanna, good morning to you. So attorneys spent the vast majority of the morning going back and forth about various pieces of evidence, right? What is and isn't allowed in trial. Obviously consequential in the big picture, but in the short term, they also have to seat a jury, and that hasn't started yet as far as we know. It's a process, just to give you an idea of how big of a task that is expected to take 1 to 2 weeks. He tried to work every legal angle to avoid this day. This morning, cameras followed former President Donald Trump as he departed Trump Tower, as his motorcade arrived at court, and as he took his seat, now set to stand trial in his hush money case.
This is really an attack on a political opponent. That's all it is.
Along with former President Trump, hundreds of prospective jurors walked through the doors of criminal court. 12 will eventually decide whether to convict or acquit a former U.S. president of a crime for the first time ever.
The standard is not, do you know who the defendant is? That's not what it is. The standard is not, do you know anything about the case? The standard is, can this person objectively evaluate the evidence? And that's where it's going to be tricky.
The court is asking prospective jurors 42 questions, like have you ever attended a rally or campaign event for Donald Trump, and where they consume their media. Trump is charged with falsifying business records to conceal a hush money payment to adult film actress Stormy Daniels, who has alleged a long-denied affair.
For 9 straight months, the defendant held documents in his hand containing this key lie.
Trump has pleaded not guilty and denies any wrongdoing.
And all I can do is tell the truth. And the truth is that there's no case. They have no case.
The former president has made several efforts to avoid this first day on trial, including approximately a dozen attempts to delay the case and 2 attempts to have the judge taken off of the case. This morning, while complaining about a gag order imposed on him, Trump posted, "I want my voice back." He'll have the opportunity to be heard on the record and says he plans to take the stand in his own defense.
I would testify, absolutely.
No cameras are allowed in court while it's in session. Still photographers were allowed in briefly this morning, and there are 3 veteran sketch artists who are tasked with capturing the intangibles, as one of them put it. Once a jury is seated, testimony will begin. That is expected to take another roughly 4 to 6 weeks. We're live in Lower Manhattan. I'm Christian Cordero, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Christian, you've covered a whole lot of high-profile trials with us here in Los Angeles. How does this one compare?
It's an interesting question, Giovanna. You know, the fact that you have a presidential candidate on trial during a presidential campaign season, of course, is unlike anything